Hello, welcome to the Squirrel Tale. Today I'm going to be doing a video discussing a project that I worked on about 5 years ago, and then due to life it kind of got put in a box. I'm thinking here I have a couple little projects I have to finish up. I'm going to start working on some more. And that is my swivel breech rifle. I want to at least get my tentative plan is to try to get the action done on it. And then I'm going to get barrels next year at the Gunmakers Fair, which is supposed to be happening. It's a little different, but I'll get barrels this summer, and then that will be next winter's gun project. But I'm hoping to finish the action that I worked on 5 years ago. Now, I haven't really looked at this much since college. And that's when I was working on it during, at that time of my life. 5 years ago I had a little more free time. Since then, working full time, everything. Got other projects going, but I'm now ready to get back to it. So, I guess I'll start looking at the box. Okay, this piece here. Now, I guess I should first talk about the book. This is the book that I used to do it. It has the plans building a swivel breech by Dave Walters. Really interesting, a lot of good detailed drawings. When working on this, you can see I worked on it so much. Was looking at this book so much that the pages actually fell apart, so that's why I have the copper wire to hold it together. But that's a book written by James Walter. A really interesting book. I can't be sure if it's in print today or not, but if it is, if you're interested in making a swivel breech, I would strongly suggest it. And I guess the first thing I should discuss is, for those of you who don't know what a swivel breech is, essentially the idea is you have two barrels and one lock mechanism, kind of like a back action style lock. You rotate the barrel 100 and then you'll fire one frizzen, and then you'll put the lock on half cock, rotate it 180 degrees, and you'll have another barrel ready to go, and then you have a second shot. Reason for this, in this time frame, I think it's, if you know about muzzling firearms, was you can now have two shots in quick succession. I mean, it's no AR-15 or nothing, but you can get that second shot off within, 10-20 seconds. Ready to go, compared to if you're fast with a muzzle earlier, probably looking at a minute or so. Probably longer, depending on how quick you are. Yes, I know there's a guy in the comment who's going to say he can load his muzzleloader in 12 seconds. Sure, okay, maybe. On a flat range when you have everything laid out, but realistically, most people, it's over a minute to get the thing loaded again. Again, all you have to do is hit your latch or whatever, turn the barrels. It's quick hand movements. Probably a little slower than something like a bolt action or a lever still, but a lot quicker than having to pour the barrel and, pour powder and ball and all that, Significantly quicker, so you take your first shot and that deer's, maybe it's hobbling along and it's wounded, now you can get it, especially if you're in a place where there's dangerous game out west. This would be a big advantage if you have a bear or whatever. Back then, having that second shot, this would be like the big thing. And amazing if you're on the frontier to have something like this. Which, I'll say, these were extremely expensive guns. Your common guy didn't have one of these, but to have something like this gave you a huge advantage. And obviously, there's some stories of this being used in. There's a story of the Revolution of a swivel breech that's written in a book. I know I've heard people dispute it, where he was actually given an extra rifle. I believe it was in Saratoga, but there's a story there. If you look up Battle of Saratoga swivel breech, you might be able to find an article. Obviously, very few of these would have seen military usage, but it still would have, if one did, it would have been a major advantage. Most of the originals, they were hunting rifles used for wealthy individuals. People with money, people who could afford a expensive, something with, expensive, nice hunting rifle. That's what most of these were. And I find them interesting for just, first as someone, as a machinist. It's fun to test your skills with your own projects. Also, it can give you some interesting, just the thought process of just, we take it for granted with breech loading and, your modern firearms, how quickly having multiple shots is. It's only, 150 years ago, 200 years ago, that this was a very difficult, having a second shot was a very difficult thing to have, and just some of the intriguing ways they went around trying to achieve that, it's always fascinated me. But now, these parts, they haven't been disturbed in 5 years, more or less. I mean, I might have picked up the thing once or twice and scanned through it, but haven't worked on it in 5 years about, so. And this part, this would go into your stock. Hold the action on. Okay, here's the lock. Yeah, and I'm going to go through and oil this stuff. See, it's back action lock, and somewhere in here I should have the mainspring. That's not what I want to do. The mainspring, and that's something I'm going to have to work on, is kind of wedged up in there. Like that, and going like that again. I'm going to have to solder a piece in there to wedge that up at a higher angle. That's something that's going to be in the works to make sure I have good, fast lock time. The other pieces. So here's your frizzen. So that's your frizzen, and I should have another plate in here. Here's the other frizzen. You have two of these, or frizzen pan assemblies. I know I need to order a frizzen for this. And then I should have another plate. Okay, here we go. So these two plates go together. And then your frizzens will go like this. There will be a castle nut there. And then I have a plate on this side. Big thing I have to do is the latch mechanism, which I think I'm going to do a slight redesign, but there's essentially what I have. Now, I do have a video when I had this all together, because I do need to find some screws of it sparking, and I have some photos of me working on this, which I should have at the end. That's essentially what we have. So I need to order the frizzen, oil the crap out of this thing. To get the frizzen, and I have to figure out how to make a release mechanism for it and get screws. But yeah, I have the frizzens on, or the pans, proper term, on backwards. Well, that one's right. But, and then that's what I need to do for the action, and then it'll be attaching the barrels and then figuring out the stocking and a lot of work on this project. My goal this winter is to get a 100% functional lock mechanism. So, if you are this piece somewhere, I should have had another one of these, but I can easily make one. Goes in like this. And that will go into the stock. But that's the idea. You'd fire, rotate, fire again. 2 shots. Kind of a cool thing. I'm still deciding what barrels I want to use because I can't actually. I believe this is set up for I can only use smaller calibers. So I'm kind of leaning towards, I think I might make like a really fun small game thing. I might do I really like 36 calibers. I might do a 36 on top, and then maybe like a 45 smoothbore. I believe I'd have to look at the book. The biggest caliber I can use is 45 for this. For this action. So maybe do a 45 smoothbore and a 36. Ow. A 36 rifle, and kind of make like a real, like the ultimate small game, gun for it, because I can hunt, especially right now the way Pennsylvania squirrel season is. There's a lot of, I think it starts in September and then goes through into like February, so I have plenty of opportunity to go squirrel hunting with it. Maybe, depends on my schedule, but that would be something fun. Also be a fun thing to shoot at the range. The smaller calibers, I find you burn through less lead. And you can, I could potentially load shot in the 40, make like if I make a 45 smoothbore, I could load shot in that. Possibly I would have to play around with it, but make like a little, almost be like a little 410 in a 36 caliber flintlock would be a real fun small game hunting thing, which I guess that would be another advantage. Whether or not it's done historically, I do not know. I would have to do research. But if you had a 45 caliber or you could have, potentially have 2 different bore diameters. You could maybe have one rifle, one smooth bore. If I were to go build this mechanism from scratch, and my goal was to have a hunting gun for practical hunting, like if I put myself in that mindset, I'm like, what calibers would I choose to make my survival gun? I'd probably go with Both 62 calibers. Again, you'd have to build a bigger mechanism than that. One smooth, one rifled. I think that would give you a very diverse set of choices. You can still load a ball in both, and despite, or you can load shot in the smooth bore or whatever, buckshot, that would give you the most diversity, but it's a project I want to see done. A couple little projects, a couple of knives I have to finish up. I do want to work on that and get that, at least the action functioning, and again, get the barrels. And then that'll be, hopefully there will be some future content with me working on this. So, it's good to have it out. I actually had to go looking for this, and it ended up on like one little corner in a shelf in my room. It was in, a hard thing to find. I probably spent about a half hour looking for it, so. But that's that, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I should have, again, when I start doing more work on this, have some more updates. So you have a good day, and, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe for more great content, and check out our Instagram page at @SquirrelTailShow.